If you're a business owner, I'm going to talk about one of my very favorite tools that will help to support you in whatever stage of your business that you're in. So I use a system called Shout app, and it's a text message marketing tool. And before you leave, let me explain what it does, because it's not what you think. A lot of people don't really understand text message marketing, and they feel very spammy, or they see the messages that they get from other people and feel like, I don't even want to do that. But there's a better way to do it that actually nurtures and supports your audience, that doesn't, it's not spammy. And in fact, Shout app is not only a text message marketing app, it is a community app and an e-commerce tool and a text message marketing tool. So let me explain kind of the three different areas. I'll start with the text message marketing. So let's say that you are a business coach of some kind, and you have, before you even have a client, maybe one of your leads, one of the ways that you bring potential prospects in the door is providing something of value. This is a very normal strategy. And many people do this in many different ways. They may offer a masterclass, they may offer a free download. There's so many different things that you can do, a 7-day challenge. But with Shout, with a text message marketing tool, you can actually curate content that solves a micro problem that can automatically be sent to your prospect when they request it. Again, that's the key. You don't want to just start spamming people. It's when they request it. So here's what that looks like. As a business coach, you might say, message me the word tips, and I'll send you my top 5 tips to starting your own business. And then that way, right when they text you the word tips, and it's a 10-digit number, by the way, so it's a US number, which is, it's not like a 5-digit, Sam's Club number that you might get, or a clothing store number. It's actually a 10-digit number, so it feels more real and authentic. So they text you tips, and then you've already set up 7 different tips that would automatically drip out to them over time, once a day for the next 7 days. And they already know what they're going to be getting because they've requested it. They are asking you to send these tips to them. So they text you tips, and the very first message might be like, hey, wonderful, so great that you're here. Here's the first tip on how to do X. And then the next day, the same thing goes out, but it's a different tip. And you can have that curated content go out to them over time. Think about your social media. You can also use this on social media. So if you're using anything like ManyChat, which is awesome, by the way, ManyChat is a way to automate some messaging in your DMs. But Shout does that with Facebook and Instagram. So again, you can do the same thing when you're doing a reel, or going live, or making a static post, or talking in your stories. You can say, DM me or private message me the word tips, and I will send you my top 5 tips to solve X problem. And so they message you that keyword, and it would auto trigger that campaign to go out to them, so that in the DMs, which is such a great way. We know that the strategy with social media is that you nurture people in your reels and your stories and on your feed, but then you actually do the sales, the one-on-one support in the DMs. That's where the sale happens. And so that's a really great strategy to use something like Shout app to get people into your DMs. Now, I've used a lot of different text messaging marketing platforms before, including Text Magic, Project Broadcast, Twilio. None of them do these things. Like they do the drip campaign, but they don't do the DMs, and they certainly don't do the communities. So let's kind of move into the communities for a second. The communities, think of it as a replacement for Facebook groups, for your WhatsApp groups, your Telegram groups, your Voxer messages. It can replace all of those. So essentially you can choose to, and this feature is free. The text message marketing piece and the e-commerce piece are the ones you need to pay for. But if you want to have your group inside of Shout instead of on Facebook or in WhatsApp, you can do that for free without having to pay for the platform. And it's awesome because you control the content, right? Who here has actually experienced getting blocked on Facebook, going into Facebook jail because they were censoring you for something that you shouldn't have been censored for? If you put them inside of a group that you manage and control, now you can curate the content that you desire and that your audience wants to see. It's also awesome because you can do actual reply to threads. I'm in a group me chat, actually many group me chats that other people have organized, and they are mind numbing because instead of actual reply to threads like you would see on Facebook. It's just one big long thread. So you have to you have to read the whole thing to figure out which thread they're replying to and which one they're all talking about. So it's just a convoluted mess. So I really love that if someone asks a question, everybody can reply to that thread and that conversation stays together, but you can expand it if you wish to see the rest of the content. It's so awesome. And for your communities, let's say that you run a course, which I love running courses. So inside of my community, I actually have several different group chats going on. So I teach assistants, I train assistants on how to run a virtual assistant business and the different tech and things that they might need to do, help them build their portfolios, whatnot. And so I want to have different kinds of communities, kind of like, or different kinds of group chats, kind of like different Slack channels that they can communicate on specific topics. So one of mine might be announcements. Another one of mine might be legal support, where I actually connect them with a lawyer that's on hand that is answering legal questions without, creating a client to lawyer relationship. And I have another one where they can submit their content for audits, that if they want me to review their portfolio or their logo or their webpage, that they can submit that content there and me and my team will audit it for them and give them feedback. So that way I can organize my group chats into specific topics rather than having one big group chat for my entire course. And we're talking about so many different things that people are just too overwhelmed to be inside of it. So I love that. And that they actually get a notification on their phone. And here's the other awesome thing. This blew me away because I've loved Project Broadcast, but it didn't have the DMs, it didn't have the communities, and it certainly doesn't have this feature I'm about to tell you about right now. That if you're a Voxer person like me, where maybe you offer Voxer memberships where people can connect with you on Voxer, they can ask you a question and you can leave an audio message back and forth to them. I'm an audio person because I'm in the car carpooling with my kids, going back and forth. It's very easy, or when I'm getting ready in the morning, to listen to audio messages and respond back on audio than it is for me to sit down and type. And so I can do that all day long and it works for me and my lifestyle. But Voxer has been the only thing that I've been able to use for that until Shout, because Shout, I can actually send audio messages to anybody on Shout to Shout, not necessarily that I'm texting because I'm texting to their cell phone. So I can't audio message to their cell phone, but I can audio message it in my groups, or if they've downloaded the Shout group and I'm messaging them from Shout to Shout, like you would, like WhatsApp, like you're both in WhatsApp and talking back and forth. I can message them from Shout to Shout and audio message them. I can drop in media. I can drop in all sorts of things as well, which is so great. So as an alternative to your community space, whether you're hosting stuff on Facebook or you're doing courses or you're doing coaching programs, it's a really great platform for you. Now let's get into the e-commerce piece. The other thing that it does that a lot of people don't realize is that it actually can send shipping notifications for you when you ship things, which is so great. So if you ship samples for your products, or let's say that you have a welcome package that you send to new customers when they enroll in your program, you can actually have them pay within Shout. You connect it with Square. And so they're actually, the payment processor of Square will put an invoice inside of the text message. So they're actually getting text message on their phone, and they will pay for that invoice right then and there. And then once they pay for it, Shout will automatically trigger shipping notifications to them. Once UPS scans the box, they will actually start getting notifications that says, "Hey, your package just barely got to UPS. It's on the way," or "Hey, your package was just delivered. Be sure to check your porch." And it will send those things automatically. You just have to set it up one time on what notifications you want to go out and which ones you want to omit. And now it's done. So anything that you sell, I know some people that sell produce each summer from their backyard, but they want a way to figure out how to let their community know when produce is on sale and what they have available. So they will put all of them into a group chat and they will say, "Hey, here's the list of all the produce we have this week." And Mary texts back and says, "Awesome, I would love 3 okra and 5 carrots." And so you can generate an invoice that will go out to them. They pay for it. and then they start getting the automated messaging. So it's really an awesome tool to basically nurture your audience. You can see this is very, very different from the messages you're probably familiar with getting from like your favorite clothing store that you purchased from, and now you get all the text messages for all the BOGOs, for all of the sales, for all the discounts, which are good, and you still want to send those things when appropriate and when they've asked you to. Maybe you create a VIP community where they want to know specifically when you have sales and promos and BOGOs and things like that. But you don't necessarily have to spam them. You can actually nurture your audience. What an incredible idea. And that's why I love Shout app, because it does all of those things for me and more. I barely like scratched the surface on what's possible. So if Shout app is something that you need support with and want to figure out if it will support your business model, let us know. We actually have people that can help you to set it up for you and work with you on your specific business model. So let us know if that's something you would enjoy. I've enjoyed it for my business, and I can't wait to see what it does for you. I think this is the next stage of evolution for business owners. And as you know, most people respond to their text messages more than they do with social media, with emails, with all the other communication styles. And so to be able to connect with them right in their text messages is an awesome way to reach your audience, especially with that 10-digit number, because it feels authentic and it feels like you. So whenever you are communicating with your audience, always send them to your business number and Shout, not your personal number. That's a way that I also have my team support my audience as well. So if I'm going to be gone all week for a vacation, my team can log into the desktop app, because there's a mobile and a desktop app, and they can respond to messages for me, but it feels authentic to the customer because they're still getting that direct support. They don't have to wait a week until I get back. But they're getting responded to in their text messages if they have questions, which is really, really awesome. I use this a lot when I'm interacting with new clients that need that I'm wondering if we're still having a meeting, if they're going, if they're late for a call and I want to text them really quickly, but I'm keeping it in my business number so that I can keep my personal information private and secure, that I'm only responding to business messages when I choose to during my office hours. So I think this is a really awesome opportunity for business owners to up level their game and how they support and nurture their audience. I can't wait to hear from you and how you choose to use this for your business.